Hello spellcasters, and welcome to Chance's Spellbook. I am not Chance, my name is Pat. I'm from a channel called Goblin Hero, and today I would like to share with you one of my favourite homebrewed spells. It's a level 2 spell called the Gravity Pillar. I came up with this spell as a way of introducing chaos and manoeuvrability to the D&D battlefield, and after some testing I think I was successful. Without any further ado, let's get right to the mechanics. So as you can see, the casting time is one action. The range is 75 foot, but it has a 10-foot radius of effect. The duration is instantaneous, and the spell's effects are as follows. You create a 10-foot vortex on a point within range. Creatures within the vortex make a strength save. If they fail, they are sent 30 feet into the air, taking 3d6 bludgeoning damage upon hitting the ground, ceiling, or any other obstacle that might be in their way. Targets fall 20 feet away from the caster. Objects are also affected in this way. Huge creatures get an advantage on the strength save. Gargantuan creatures are immune to the spell entirely. Creatures immune to fall damage do not receive damage, but they are still moved if they are affected by the spell. Alternatively, you can cast the spell at a higher level. If it is cast as a 4th level spell, the height increases to 50 foot, which in turn increases the damage to 5d6. As well as this, large and gargantuan creatures are no longer immune to the spell's effects. For the verbal component, you simply need to say an appropriate magical word. This can be something thematic to the spell, like the elvish word for flight, or it can be something personal to your character, or you can simply call out the phrase gravity pillar and expect it to work like some kind of anime protagonist. For the somatic component, you simply need to have an outstretched palm or a pointed finger, or a readied staff that you can point to direct the blast of the swirling vortex. And finally, the school is Evocation. With that out of the way, let's explore exactly how the spell works. To cast the spell, the caster must select a point on the floor within range. A swirling vortex of anti-gravity and force energy will manifest at that point. The vortex takes the form of a sphere with a 10-foot radius. Any creature within the sphere's radius must pass a strength saving throw or be flung 30 feet in the air. Flung creatures take 3d6 of bludgeoning damage from the fall. Flung creatures are thrown 30 feet up and land 20 feet farther away from the caster than when they were thrown. Huge creatures gain advantage on saving throws to resist this spell. Gargantuan creatures are immune to the spell's effects entirely. Alternatively, if you cast Gravity Pillar as a 4th level spell, the height is increased to 50 feet, and the damage is increased to 5d6. At level 4, huge creatures no longer gain advantage on their saving throws to resist the spell, and gargantuan creatures are no longer immune. If this spell is cast in a room with a low ceiling, the damage remains the same, as creatures will collide with the ceiling or obstacles or anything else that may be in the path of their flight. Creatures with immunity to fall damage may still be moved by the spell, but may not take fall damage. These creatures may still take damage if the spell is cast on a confined space, as they will hit off the ceiling or other hazards. You see, the spell itself causes no damage. All damage comes from falling or colliding with ceilings or overhangs. This means that the spell may be used as a way to move willing allies or inanimate objects. Of course, this is all down to your DM. If they are stringent on movement rules, they may find that there is no practical way to use this spell without injuring the person being moved. Now, for certain party members in certain situations, it may not bother you too much if a person makes the landing with 2 broken legs. The discretion is entirely up to the caster and their given alignment. Which brings us neatly to another point I wanted to make, and that is alternate uses. You see, vertical movement is not something that gets enough attention in D&D. It's partially why I tried to develop this spell. Climbing gets a cursory mention, and a later level monk ability allows you to move vertically with ease. But as a 3-dimensional game, it doesn't get a lot of use. So what this spell hopes to do above all else is create a little bit of chaos by taking advantage of this, movement blind spot. This spell is something that is most effective if you use it indoors. You see, the typical early game bar brawl can be completely changed up if all the furniture becomes a flying, dangerous weapon. Also, if you wanted to combine things like oil lamps and kegs of spirits and alcohol. Or alternatively, if you just want to cause chaos to interrupt your big bad guy's impressive speech. Also, it causes havoc at dinner parties, suddenly when the furniture is smashed off the ceiling and the guests have all done backflips. It causes effect. Of course, the utility of the spell outside combat comes down to what you want to do and what your DM allows you to do. Like most things in D&D, it's something with a specific combat usefulness, but the creativeness outside of combat is between you, the other players, and your DM. Thank you very much for listening to my spell. My name is Pa. I am one of the 2 writers of Goblin Hero. We do animated D&D stories. We hope that you might check us out sometime. And thank you very much to Chance for giving me this opportunity. I'm a big fan of his work, and it's nice to be able to contribute to something I've enjoyed for as long as I have.